Hey guys, Parfax here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a video on a few tips and tricks you should know before the next patch. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the next patch is right around the corner, and this video is going to help you get a little bit of a head start on your competition before the next patch. Now, I probably should have made this video a little while ago, but it's never too late to help you guys out. So first and foremost, one of the things I'm sure you guys know is to make sure you stockpile your OPR, your invasion, and your war spoil crates. So the reason why, if you didn't know, is stuff like this is going to be upgradable next patch to 600 with a third perk. So the reason why we're keeping the OPR crates is because they can just get very encumbersome in our inventory. And the reason why we're keeping our invasion crates in here as well is honestly just because I believe they're getting a buff to the caches plus getting the 600 as well. But no matter what, they will get the treatment that these are getting. So we'll be able to upgrade those to hit legendary and get 600 as well with the war spoils. So make sure you keep those, set them aside so you can get those possibly Bisque gear next patch. After that, we always want to stockpile material. Material. Now I have crafted a ton. I had a ton of material. We've done a massive amount of crafting. If you haven't watched my video about the Bisque mage gear, make sure you go do that. We put that out, I believe, the day before this is coming out. So make sure you check that out. But that's the reason why I have a lot less material than I should. But we have Asmodeum, Runic Leather, Phoenix Weave, Glitter, and Ebony are going to be some of the big ones you, of course, want to stockpile. Now, if you're trying to craft fire staves, Glitter and Ebony is going to be an absolute must as well. And then we, of course, have Phoenix Weave, Runic Leather, and Asmodeum for everything else. I mean, of course, they need them as well, too. But you want to make sure you stockpile these because they always get more expensive, especially really early on in the patch. Now, if you're willing to wait, maybe you don't need to stockpile and maybe just continue doing your daily cooldowns. But I always suggest, especially right now with the prices being so low, to stockpile before the patch comes out. That way you can have some room to wiggle when it comes out. And you don't need to spend nearly as much to craft your gear, or just wait for people to craft stuff or get your OPR crates. And that way you can see what gear you're going to need. Now, the one thing that people tend to forget is make sure you get your attribute modifiers. Linen embroidery is going through the roof, so make sure we're putting in buy orders for whatever we need. We have iron battle medals, iron guardsman insignias. We have our rough leather beaded straps, our focus one, I can't remember what theirs is called, and then the linen embroidery. Those are going to be pretty expensive next patch because people are going to be crafting new gear. The healer ones, they don't have to craft nearly as much new gear because what's best for them really hasn't changed. But there's going to be a lot of crafting, especially in the way of strength gear, con gear, and intelligence gear. So make sure you're putting in buy orders. One thing to not forget is make sure you check out the prices of things like small quartz crystals. We have iron corrupted casings, softwood tree sap. There is a ton of things out there, and especially we have our fish guts that will allow us to transport or convert 5 of these to one of an item we want. So for instance, the fish guts here, you see here it says used in crafting to apply a bonus of dexterity and intelligence to an item. The reason these are important is because we can go to a gypsum kiln, take 5 of these, and take them and put them either into a linen embroidery, or we can put them into a rough leather beaded strap. We just convert them over. So when you're looking at the linen embroidery, make sure you go down and check it out. Now, it does cost Azoth, but what I typically do is I will buy some. Like you see here, we have 210 small quartz crystal. We put in a buy order for it. When my Azoth gets capped or gets really close to cap, I will go up to the gypsum kiln and I'll spend like 80% of my Azoth, and then I have basically free conversion. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you get those stockpiled because you're going to need them next patch if you plan on crafting gear at all, or just looking to maybe turn a little bit of a profit. Now, of course, we have things like timeless shards and scarabs you want to get as well, but those are all very self-explanatory, and I don't think I need to go over that, but just make sure you're stockpiling the material you need. One of the material that I think people kind of, don't stockpile or don't really get ahead of is things like your gems and your rune glass gems. Now, I don't know why I actually haven't turned these into rune glass casings or into rune glass gems yet. I'm not 100% sure why, but you want to make sure you do these now if you know exactly what you want to run. And the reason for this is just because they are going to go up in price, especially rune glass cases of igniting. We know fire staff is going to be prevalent. People typically wait till they see what gear they get. Once they get the gear, then they'll start buying their rune glass casings. They'll start buying their, their onyxes and stuff like that. Now, if you didn't know, there's a couple material that are always needed in each one. Outside of the glyphs, which we know are very self-explanatory, we get charged sand and sulfur. And these things typically do go up in price whenever there's a big gear increase. And you can see here, there's 151.86. Now, that is a big chunk, but if you have 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 people trying to make rune glass casings, then this is going to eat through this really quickly, and it's going to start to skyrocket the price. So make sure you get out there and get these done. And then you, of course, have sulfur, which tends to get very expensive when there's a high demand, and there's not that much on the market right now, and it could easily start going through the roof in price. Now, I don't think it's going to go significantly up, but with supply and demand, if everybody's out there trying to craft new gear, or at least a big percentage of the population, especially if you're on a bigger server, this supply can go through really fast. So make sure you stockpile this material, because you never know if you're going to need it, and it's probably going to go up next patch. And let's be honest, if you just put a buy order for it, you can just sell it for a profit later. Next, we're back here at the storage, and let's be honest, don't worry about, you know what, we'll just pay it. I know I'm going to get some comments, Parfax, why have you not paid it? Okay, it wasn't paid when I got on today, and I just haven't paid it before I made this video. But we're paid, so we're good, and you guys don't have to roast me in the comments for not paying my taxes. Okay, so we have the fire staff right here, and let's talk about it. So if you want to play fire staff next patch, you might want to get your weapon now. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be the highest DPS. I'm actually in the process of doing DPS tests, but there's a few reasons why fire staff might become into the meta for PvE, and a lot of the fire staves are actually really cheap on the market right now. I think I bought all of these for under 2K. Now, I did buy those a little bit ago, but we have a Vicious Ancient Bane Meteor Shower. We have an Angry Earth Vicious Keenly Jagged. We have Keen Vicious Ancient Bane. We have Vicious Lost Bane Empowering Meteor Shower. We have Vicious Ancient Bane Keenly Jagged. So we have a bunch of these just sitting around. We bought them for really cheap. We're like, well, if it does become good, we can go ahead and put them back in the market for a nice little chunk of price. If I have a buddy that really needs one, we can give it one to him. So we went ahead and bought a few. Then if you also are a Blunderbuss player, there is a chance that Blunder gets to be a weapon that is used, especially paired with something like the Fire Staff. So if you want to possibly look out for those, you can, but Blunder doesn't do nearly the amount of damage as the Fire Staff, so keep that in mind, and we don't know if it's going to be that great or not. So it is a really good weapon if you want to get out there, and if you plan on using one of these weapons next patch, there's a small chance that Blunderbuss gets a little bit of a bump in price, but Fire Staff for sure, and especially like Angry Earth, if I don't know, is that an Angry Earth? Yeah, Angry Earth Bane. Those are going to be very popular next patch, so make sure you get out there and buy them. Last little piece of advice I will give you guys is if you are possibly going to be looking at rolling gear and you're looking for Elemental Version, Refreshing, Resilient, I would put in some buy orders for these Kraken 600 gear score pieces or all the Summer Medley Fair 600 gear score pieces. These look like they might be super expensive right now, but the reason why they are expensive is because they are going from refreshing elemental version and not being able to roll resilient to they're putting resilient in the perk pool and they're putting it at 24%. So if you don't know how these work, we buy one, we go to craft it. When we go to craft it, it'll have elemental version refreshing guaranteed, and then it hits legendary every single time that you craft it, and then it gets a random perk. Well, now next patch, it'll have a 24% chance to hit resilient. So if that's your BIS, these are going to be extremely popular to get them. Now, these are pretty crazy prices, but when you start rolling gear, you'll find that even if you have to buy 3 of these, 4 of these to get it, 4 of these is typically what it's going to, take to get one. That ends up being cheaper than actually just buying it off the trading post. And then if you get a little bit lucky, boom, you're good. Now, if you get not so lucky, then you're kind of shit out of luck. But especially if you put in a buy order, so look at the buy order price for this right now. It is 56,66666.66666. So if you just go ahead and put in a 7 there, put in the buy order for one of these or a couple of these, it's gonna be a great way to get your BIS gear next patch. Now, the new summer, or not the Summer Medley Fair, I said that in the last video and people roasted me for it, which rightfully so. There's a spring event coming out with this next patch, and it's going to have the physical version form of these. So if you're looking for physical version, next patch is gonna be the one you're gonna wanna look into because it's gonna give you the chance to craft your BIS items for extremely cheap. But all right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, like always. Let me know what you want to see in the comment section down below. Or if you have any other tips that you want to share with everybody, make sure you put them down in the comment section. People do read them. People enjoy when you guys help everybody out. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, like always. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.